Hello peace internet, my name is Kevin and welcome back to another video. Okay guys, so for today's video I am doing something that none of you guys have seen before because no one has made this tag ever. Like, I'm pretty sure absolutely no booktubers have been doing it at the moment. I don't think I've seen a single one of these videos ever on booktube, so I'm really excited to make this like first ever one of these videos in so long. Lol, I am clearly creative as fuck. So yeah, I'm going to be bringing you guys the mid-year book freakout tag. I absolutely love this tag. I did it last year as well, and I also did it late. I did it like September of last year, and clearly I don't know when to do it during the mid-year, but whatever, I'm doing it now anyways, and I'm really excited to do this video. Basically, there's lots of different questions about books that you've read so far this year, and you answer them, and yes, that is basically what this tag is. Every single person has done this tag at this stage, so yeah, I'm just very, very late to the game, but here we are anyways, and I'm going to jump straight into this tag, and let's get to it. Also, I just want to point out that I've only read 19 books so far this year, so sorry in advance for how limited my selection is, because I haven't read that many books because I'm not like everyone else and I get distracted by TV shows, and currently I'm obsessed with RuPaul's Drag Race because I just discovered it and I don't know why. I've never had this in my life before. The first question is the best book that you've read so far this year, and that would have to be A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. This is the third and final book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy. You guys all know how much I love this series. I'm well aware that there are a lot of problematic areas in this series, but nonetheless, I'm still obsessed with it. And I absolutely loved this book so much. I cried my eyes out. I was in such a book hangover after I finished it. And I just love these characters so much, and I'm so sad that the original trilogy is finished, but we still get a few more books, so it's fine. But Feyre and Rhys's story is finished, and my ultimate OTP forever and ever and ever, and I love them so much, and I'm just getting emotional thinking about it. Don't get me started. But yes, this is definitely the best book I've read so far in 2017, and it's probably going to be the best book I've read even at the end of the year, so yeah. Love it. The next question is, what is the best sequel you have read in 2017? And that is going to have to be Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. This is actually one of the only sequels I've read this year. I've read A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is a sequel, but I didn't want to answer the same book again, and this is the only other sequel I've read this year. So I am obsessed with the Red Queen series, as you guys know, and I just love this world, these characters, everything about it. I also love Victoria Aveyard. Glass Sword was just a really, really good sequel in my opinion. It kind of has mixed reviews, but I loved it, and it made me cry as well. So yeah, there you go. The third question is a new release that you haven't read yet but you want to, and that is going to have to be When Dimple Met Rishi by Zendaya Menon. I am so looking forward to reading this book. I am planning on reading it for the Booktubeathon in a couple of weeks, so I am very excited to hop on this and read it because I am obsessed with the cover of this book, and I'm just so ready to dive in and fall in love and just love this book. So I'm so excited to read this, and this is definitely one I'm going to be reading in the very near future. Number 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and honestly I don't really have many anticipated releases for the next half of this year apart from Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas, which is book 6 in the Throne of Glass series and follows Chaol. And yeah, that's basically the only book that's coming out in the second half of this year that I'm really anticipating. Number 5 is the biggest disappointment that you've read this year, and that will have to be Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List by Rachel Kahn and David Levithan. Don't get me started on this book. I really wish I DNF'd this book. I was so disappointed in this book. I love Rachel Kahn and David Levithan's books. This is the first one that I really like hated. I gave this a 2 stars, and I was being very generous, and it's just a huge disappointment for me. I thought I was gonna love this book, and I was the complete opposite about this because, girl, do not get me started on how much I hate this frickin' book. The next question is the biggest surprise, and that would have to be Lily and the Octopus by Stephen Rowley. I read this book back in May, I think, and I was absolutely blown away by how much I loved this book. I didn't know anything about this book going into it apart from the fact it was about a dog, and I went into this book knowing nothing, and it just blew my mind. I cried my eyes out, and there's a particular reason why I cried so much because it kind of hit home. for me at that particular time, and it was such an emotional read for me, and I just absolutely loved it. The next question is your favorite new author, which could be a debut author or it's just someone who is new to you to read, and that would have to be Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda and the Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I have fallen in love with this woman, and I'm gay, but Becky Albertalli is just my woman crush. I love her characters. I just wish that I could be best friends with her and talk about her characters forever. I want to meet her. I want to literally just live in her awe. I'm obsessed with this woman, and these books, amazing. I love these so much. These are books that I could reread countless times, and I just love both of these books equally, and I just love Becky Albertalli. I just can't give anything else but praise towards that woman, so I am just in love. The next question is your new fictional crush, and that would have to be Kai from the Lunar Chronicles, or Cinder, which is the only book I've read so far in the series. And Kai, ooh, I love that prince. He is just, I love him. I am obsessed with him, and I'm really hoping he makes more appearances in the rest of the series. I've heard he does, so that makes me really happy, but I am just in love with Prince Kai, and I don't know the hype around the series. Like, I don't know who everyone ships or who everyone is in love with, so I don't know if everyone else is in love with Prince Kai. Let me know down below if you're also in love with him, because he is just my dream boy. I love him, and I wish I could marry him, but it's not gonna happen because fictional. The next question is your newest favorite character, and I'm kind of answering a book that I already showed. I know I didn't want to do this, but I just have to, and that is Simon from Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda. I love Simon. I can relate a lot to him. I think he's absolutely hilarious. I love his sarcasm and his witty humor. I am just in love with Simon, and I just love him so much. The next question is a book that made you cry, and once again I'm gonna have to repeat books because I've only read 19 books this year. Not many have made me cry. There's only a couple. There's only 3 I think that have made me cry, and this is the one that I know I sobbed. Like, I was an absolute mess reading this book, and that is once again Lily and the Octopus by Stephen Rowley. This book, guys, I was literally sobbing. Like, I was like a full-on breakdown reading this book. I related too much to what happens in this book, and I don't want to spoil it, but I just cried so freaking much. So it hit home too much for me, and that's why it made me cry so much. But it was such a beautiful book. I would highly recommend this. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy, and for this I'm going with Queens of Geeks by Jen Wilde. This book made me so happy because this book takes part at a convention, and I had just come back from BookCon when I read this, and it just made me so happy because it made me relive everything about BookCon, and the romance in this book is so cute, and it just made me so happy, and oh, it's so cute. I love this book. Absolutely amazing. It's making me happy now just talking about it, so therefore it just has to be the answer for this question, you know what I mean? Number 12 is your favorite book to movie adaptation that you have seen this year, and the only one that I have seen is Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. This is the only book to movie adaptation I've actually seen this year, and I wasn't a huge fan of the movie. I don't know why I didn't love it as much as I thought I would, but I prefer the book, and that's the only book to movie adaptation I've actually seen this year. The next question is your favorite video that you have done so far this year on BookTube, and I have 2 answers for this. First would be my collab video I did with Sandy from Sandy Reads a Lot, and we did If Booktubers Dated, and it's a little skit kind of video about like if booktubers were in a relationship with one another, and I loved filming this video so much. It turned out really well, I think, and I just love this so much, and I'm really proud of it. And the second one would have to be the one I just recently uploaded with my dad, the 25 euro pennies outfit challenge. I am really proud of how that video turned out. It was so freaking funny to film, so funny to watch back, and I just love that video so much. So I would recommend you guys check out both of those videos if you haven't, and I would also leave them linked down below so you can go check them out if you want to. Number 14 is the most beautiful book you have bought so far this year, and that is going to be Flame in the Mist by Renee Ahdieh, and I love this cover, and I just love this so freaking much. I think it's such a pretty cover. I love the purple kind of like, what are they called? Chinese throwing stars kind of thing, but they turn into like flowers. I just think this cover is really pretty and it kind of says everything for itself. Like just look at it. Can you understand why I think it's the most prettiest one? Yes, because it is. It's just so beautiful. And question number 15 is, what book do you need to read by the end of the year? And that would have to be the whole Percy Jackson series, because I've been saying I will read it forever, so I need to read that series. So yeah, that is it for the mid-year book freakout tag. There are all of the questions, there are all of my answers. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And other than that, I will see you all in my next video. So goodbye guys.